Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 404 of the Stacey West podcast. I am your host tonight, Ben, and I'm joined by Chris. How are you doing, mate? You keeping well?
Hello. I'm very pleased to be talking about football this evening rather than what I've been talking about for the rest of the day. How are you?
I am also pleased that I'm talking about football and not what I've been talking about for the rest of the day. It sounds like we have stories that we are not allowed to tell in public, in a very public forum. But yes, we've had discussions off air, and I think we both have equal amounts of empathy and sympathy for each other right now.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we do. We really do, and that's nice. Definitely needed that today. Honestly, I've been looking forward to this evening so much, just because it's just like it is on a Saturday and a Tuesday night, of course. It is such an escape to take your mind away from everything else in the world and just talk about the most important, unimportant thing in the world, which of course is football and Lincoln City. And yeah, delighted to be here, mate. Delighted.
Yeah, no, I was out of the house at 6:45 this morning. I got back into the house at about 6:25 this evening. I immediately sat down and watched the new episode of South Park because, of course, I did. I do love South Park. And then I had some tea, and now I'm here. So yeah, it's been a day, Chris. But how's the rest of the week been?
It's been all right.
Yeah,
yeah, it's been fine. Thank you. Absolutely fine. Highlight, of course, was Tuesday evening.
Oh wait,
we had a match. It's quite funny because a bit of an anecdote. I accidentally paid for a posh seat, and it was genuinely unintentional, but I kind of liked it. So I normally sit in one row from the top in the GBM stands for my season ticket. So quite used to a high up vantage point, and I like the high up vantage point. I like to analyze the game, as you all know. So normally when it comes to a trophy game, I prefer to sit in the Serenity stand or whatever it's called these days, rather than in the lower tier of the GBM. It's just my preference. Mm-hmm. So it got relatively late on Monday evening, of course, after our live show, and I was working that night as well. So I did my little part. I went to work. I joined you after. Then I watched the stuff I'd missed. And then I thought, oh yeah, we've got a game tomorrow night. So I went on the website and I saw that there was only a handful of seats available in the St Andrew's stand. So I was like, popped on it, clicked on it, 20 quid. Oh, that's fine, because that's less than a normal ticket. So it must be cheaper because it's the Virtue Trophy. Perfect, get that, brilliant. And then I only on the Tuesday when I went. Was setting off to go to the ground, that I realised that it was a 200 club seat, and I got some food with it as well, which was brilliant. And then the highlight of the evening is bumped into Jez in the toilet of all places, and we were chatting for so long the lights went out.
Oh dear, that was always the danger, isn't it? If you go to the toilet at work and you sort of make yourself comfortable and you're like, this is great. And then you realise the motion sensors in there, they stop detecting motion and turn it off. And all of a sudden, you're left sat on the loo in the dark. It's never a fun thing. But I imagine it was probably slightly more involved conversation with Jez than just being sat on your own.
It was, yeah. At least I had some company. We did fumble about trying to find the door, to be honest. It wasn't even like we started moving. Yeah, don't click that the wrong part that up.
Can we not phrase, I was fumbling in the dark with Jez in the toilet
apologies.
as a thing?
Sorry, everyone. Don't read into that. We just couldn't find the door, honest. But yeah, even with a bit of movement, the light didn't turn on. It was only when we finally found the door. And then I was kind of, again, we then finally stood outside the toilets, finishing off our conversation. Liam Scully arrived, just said a quick hello, and he was escorting someone from the PFA. So she shook everyone's hand. She shook my hand. I was like, oh no, I'm not important. Don't worry. Which got a little bit of a giggle. And then, of course, I made my escape because I realised I was certainly amongst people that I wasn't really, not that I wasn't welcome. They always make me feel very welcome, but I kind of.
It was a conversation above your pay grade.
Basically. It certainly was. Yeah. So I escaped, but yeah. So I enjoyed before the game on Tuesday. to be honest. And then, of course, the game itself was good. But we're not only going to be talking about that this evening, are we, Ben?
No, so for the benefit of Stu, we are talking about the game. We are talking about the signing that came after our deadline day stream. We're talking about a new investor. And of course, we're looking ahead to the game on Saturday. But before we do any of that, Chris, I think it's only fair that we maybe blow our own a little bit and sort of celebrate what a success Monday night was, because it was a very enjoyable evening all round, I think. And the numbers seem to show it. I think the last count, we were probably on about over 5,000 views for all of the content that we put out on Monday, which is fantastic, really. And we just hope that everybody enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed making it. It was frantic at times, but thoroughly enjoyed it all.
Yeah, obviously pat on the back and everything. It was. Let's be honest. It's only a success when people actually watch it. And listen to it. So a huge, genuine, heartfelt thank you to everyone who was engaged with that. I think it's the biggest one we've done at any point, isn't it, in terms of engagement. So it's brilliant. Thank you so much. Pleased it went down well. Thank you for all your lovely comments as well, because they are noticed. And also for the people that did take the time to say hello at the club on Tuesday night. I'll never get used to it. I'll never ever get used to the fact that when you stood there in front of people in real life, that there are real people that actually listen and pay attention and value it. So yeah, it was quite humbling for us all. Big thank you to you all for watching. And go us, I suppose. But yeah, it wouldn't be anything without you guys. I know that's a bit sloppy, a bit of a cliche, but it is literally true as well.
Yes.
So,
yeah, 100%. It was just I thoroughly enjoyed it, and even after the fact, sitting there and going, I've got to clip a bunch of stuff so we can put this out as a separate thing, and then editing the audio and snipping out bits that didn't make sense in the audio. It was just, it's just fun, and it was nice to do. And obviously that was all Monday, but Tuesday, as you say, Chris, you were in the posh seats. Did they have a little cushion and everything? Or
it was a padded seat as well. It's amazing. Leg room.
No seat warmers though.
No, didn't need it, to be honest. The company kept me warm.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, well, we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. A little bit later on when we get to November and you're in the posh seats and you think I need a seat warmer now. But obviously Notts County at home. I think in our man of the match video, I think I described it as a routine win for the Imps, which a couple of seasons ago may have sounded a little bit of a foreign concept, but honestly, I don't really think we were under too much pressure throughout the whole game. Even if when you look at the stats, it seems to be, again, kind of the norm. Notts County came up, had the majority of the possession. We had the majority of the shots, and we obviously came away on top because of the way that we are playing at the moment. And it was, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very nice to have a 15-minute spell from 75 to 90 and still have some nails left. That was nice to not really be worried too much around the result of the game in the last 15 minutes. But yeah, it was a really intriguing game because, of course, we had a few new faces, a heavily rotated side, a new shape again. Michael seems to be experimenting with his formation a little bit. It was just a really nice evening. It felt quite comfortable. Notts had certainly had their chances, some high XG chances in regards to like position on the pitch, but we defended our box well, blocked the shots really well, so that even the chances that were big chances for Notts, bar one, I think we had plenty of players between the ball and the goal. But we should be winning that game with the team that we put out, the experience on the pitch that we had compared to Notts' team. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and I think Michael put it perfectly. Really, it was a very professional job. Particularly with a heavily rotated squad and a couple of players making their debuts. Yeah,
and I think the fact that making their debuts the day after being announced was probably a daunting task for them, no doubt. Especially you look at some of the players that were making their sort of full debuts. I mean, Okoronkwo I think that was his full debut. I don't think he started previously. Obviously, we had.
He started against Burton, I think. in the League Cup and played 90.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah. Sorry, my
But
mistake on that.
obviously he's not played many games for us, has he?
No. But then the obvious debuts: Oscar Thorne, Finn Barbrook, and Adam Reach. Now, Adam Reach kind of been there, done that in his career so far. But the two that I think really stood out for most people were Oscar Thorne, particularly throughout the whole game, but Finn Barbrook in the second half, which we'll obviously come on to. But yeah, I think he really grew into the game. Yeah, I think relatively early goal, Adam Reach delivery, Sonny Bradley header. I think this could be a lovely, lovely, beautiful partnership going forward, because
hopefully so.
I think as the half went on, I think we all said in the group chat at the time, Adam Reach has got a lovely cross on him, hasn't he? That was a question,
sorry.
Chris.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were carrying on. Yes, he has. Sorry, mate. I was having a little word then. Yes, he has. I know that we were obviously crying out for an attacking left back. It was the hole in the squad that we hadn't filled throughout the summer. I liked how Jez was quite, and Michael, in fairness, in both their interviews, were quite forthright in stating how well Riley's done there. But of course, he's a slightly more defensive-minded left back and can do that fancy inverting into a back three in possession. But Adam Reach gives us that attacking outlet on the left-hand side. And I think just the fact that we signed a left back was good on Monday, wasn't it? But Adam Reach is obviously a player who has played a lot of his career further up the pitch, but as recently, in the last year or two, slotted in at left back and slotted in very comfortably at left back. But he showed undoubted quality on the ball, and set piece delivery is something we mentioned, I think, on Monday when it was announced. But of course, we had so much going on, it probably wasn't a big talking point. It was just the fact that, yeah, we've got a left back, and we've also decided this, and we've also got this going on. There was so much going on Monday. But of course, with Rico not on the pitch, whose set piece delivery has been really, really good so far this season, we have another left footer who has got an excellent delivery from dead balls, and also from open play as well. So yes, it was very nice. It felt very, very routine, that goal, didn't it? Sonny Bradley was utterly dominant for the full 90 minutes, as we expect him to be, and as he has been every game he's played so far this season for us, of course. He only managed to do that for 30 minutes on Saturday, hence why he played the full 90 for this game. But it all felt very expected, really, at that point in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think there were any nerves beforehand. It was, I wonder when we're going to maybe get the first opportunity, and it comes up. As you say, it's a textbook corner. Ball pretty much into the middle. Bradley getting on the end of it, kind of cuts a little bit across the keeper, and a decent enough goal. And then I think a few people kind of suggested, "Oh, how long until his red card then?" It was really good start within 10 minutes. And then if you were to look at essentially the numbers, it didn't seem like too much had happened until half time. But I found it to be quite a good game of football. There wasn't too much. It did get dragged down a little bit, I think, at points where I think the ref might have been maybe a little bit whistle happy. But I'd sooner have a whistle happy ref than a card happy ref, as we had on Saturday. But yeah, I think we managed to play the game we wanted to play. Pressing them as much as we possibly could, letting them have the possession in the wrong areas of the field, which I know is something that we've touched on several times, and Michael has as well. But yeah, a solid first half without too much in the way of incident.
Yeah, I'm not going to get drawn into referee criticism. We did that a lot on Saturday, and rightly so. If we're comparing Tuesday's refereeing performance to Saturday, this was A-star, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was absolutely fine. I thought Fred was impressive in this game, particularly in the first half, playing as a lone striker in a 4-3-3, which we'll touch on a little bit, I think, in a moment. I thought he was really good, and he had an excellent header that was just tipped over the bar, I think, didn't he? Off an Adam Reach cross. I thought a lovely little move, but yeah, it just felt very comfortable. It did have a bit of a friendly feel to it. I know it was friendly with points on the line, wasn't it? But it didn't feel the most competitive. It did feel a little stop-start, which you're always going to get, I think, when there's such a heavily rotated team. But I think in spells, we look really good. We look really, really good. Look very, very comfortable. in the first half, I was impressed with Adam Reach, but that was easy to be done. He had a lot of the ball and just showed his quality. I was really impressed with Mr. Thorne on the right wing. I thought he ran very aggressively, picked up some good positions, just looked really direct and aggressive. I think he looked even better at right back when he went there in the second half, by the way. But I think big mention to Finn Barbrook, because not only did he slot in to make his debut, so far this season we've primarily been playing a 4-2-3-1, other than when we've played the 3-4-3 away at Bolton. But ultimately we've had two double sixes playing in front of our back four. And on Tuesday night we played a 4-3-3 with just 1-6 sitting in Barbrook, and then two incredibly attack-minded number 8s in Ben House and Eric Ring. So he had a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, did Finn there, to be the lone pivot with two players that aren't going to give him a huge amount of protection next to him. They're going to press high up the pitch and limit how often the ball comes to him, but he had a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and I think on the whole he dealt with that really, really well. It looked quite neat and tidy in possession. Certainly felt like his strengths were in possession of the ball, which is something that is good. I think we it's nice to have that kind of really technical ball player in the squad. That I'm not saying the other guys aren't competent at that, but that clearly appears to be his game. But I was quite impressed with him, really. So yes, it wasn't only that he played well in there; he played well in there on his own, where normally we play two in there. So that was quite interesting to see that he dealt with that quite well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that it felt, particularly as the conversation that we were kind of having. Obviously, you were watching the game, but on WhatsApp, when you had the moments. It felt a little bit like he was, we alluded to it earlier, but there was definitely that moment of, okay, he's not been thrown in at the deep end, but he's been sort of dropped in midway along the pool, shall we say? Not quite the shallow end, not quite the deep end, but as you say, on his own in that position. And I think maybe took a little while to get a feel for it, but as the game went on, he looked really composed, really good, and dare I say it, and potentially sound like an old man, but well beyond his years, playing in that position. So I hope that that's a sign of things to come, and it obviously then gives us another option in that midfield to see, would we maybe apply that tactic and apply that formation with Finn on his own in that role in the league? And it's a question that I don't think we'll see the answer to on Saturday, but it's definitely one that we may be able to deploy a little bit later on in the season if we are going to go for it. Because I think that was what the lineup was last night. It was like, oh, we're going for this, aren't we?
Yeah, it was very attacking. Yeah, I think if you're playing a 4-3-3, the dynamic of that midfield three dictates how attacking the lineup is. And when you've got Ben House and Eric Ring as your two number 8s, I think that kind of says it all in terms of the mentality, doesn't it? What I really liked was, and it's the first time this season we've been able to see it, of course, due to the personnel, is the balance in our back four was really, really nice. And before and after the changes, because of course Lewis Montsma played at right back, which I actually quite liked him there. I think that potentially could really suit him as almost the Riley Towler version of a right back. We had Lewis as a he did get forward, but he certainly was more conservative in his approach in the first half at right back. And then we had, of course, Adam Reach playing on the left side, who was very attacking on that left side on 60 minutes, and the subs happened. Oscar Thorne dropped in at right back, very, very attack-minded, got on the outside quite a lot, but we had Riley Taylor on the left who dropped in and was a little bit more conservative and solid in there. So the fact that we can almost mirror our approach now, literally flip it from one side to the other depending on the opposition and game state and whatnot, that's a real tool that we haven't ever really had. I don't think Michael Skripala hasn't really had that at any point since he's been Lincoln City manager. So I know it was only a Virtue Trophy match, but you've only got to see the depth of the players that came off the bench to really realise, wow, we really have got strength and depth now. Even with three players that are assigned to the club away on international duty and not in the squad at all. So, yeah, even though it was only a Virtue game and it was very comfortable in the end, and I know we haven't spoken about the second half yet, but it just gave me some real excitement, really, about the rest of the season because of the depth that the squad has, and not just like for like depth, it's flexibility and options in that depth. I've just not seen it. I don't think I've seen it ever before as a Lincoln City fan, to have as many versatile options as we've got now. And it's just fun. It's also going to be almost impossible to predict a starting 11 on Saturday, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I know it's something that we've spoken about before, and we've said about the need for different profiles and different positions for multiple reasons. Obviously, yeah, giving the opposition something more to think about instead of just, oh, well, we know they're going to play Tendai Deriku at right back because they've only got one. We know that they're going to play Riley Taylor at left back because he's having to fill in there. All of a sudden, do we set up for a more attacking Lincoln City? Do we set up for a more defensively minded back four? It throws everything into the mixer, and I think fun and exciting are probably the two words for that one, for sure. So let's move into the second half then. As you say, there was a few subs on 60 minutes, but before then, a man who probably a bit like I'm going to christen him Young Finn, because I don't know what it is, but Barbrook is it. I can't quite get my mouth around it every single time. So Young Finn, a lot like him, grew into the game. I think Eric Ring played a little bit like a man who knew he had a point to prove. Some people saying, us included, that he didn't necessarily look fit against Plymouth, and maybe was struggling a little bit. But I think he started in a potentially a similar sort of vein, but again grew into the game and did really well. But can we talk about that assist? Because the way that he got into that position, he showed his strength, he showed his pace, outpaced the defender, and then to put the ball in with that amount of venom from the outside of the boot to basically land bang on Ben House's foot, that was really, really impressive. And I'm not sure which was the better ball in, whether it was Adam Reach's for the corner or whether it was Eric Rings. I think it's probably Eric Rings because I just really liked that.
It was good, and I really enjoyed Eric in there. Again, I wouldn't say that he'll suddenly find himself playing in one of the 2-6 positions in a 4-2-3-1 shape, but could he find himself in a number 10 role now and then potentially? I thought it was interesting that our two, particularly on Eric's side, so he was more the left side of the three, he did drift wide quite a lot and exchange positions with Okoronkwo on that side. And that dynamic really grew as the game went on, as you mentioned. The goal came at a good time as well, didn't it? Because Knots had a couple of chances before that as well.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bit of territory, which they hadn't had in the first half, really. And then it was a great goal on the counter. It was a really, really good run. Just as you said, perfectly put. Showed strength, showed good decision-making as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, showed good execution to find Ben. And I think Ben made it look an easier finish than it really was, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's two smart finishes in two cup games for Mr. House, which is really positive. I wouldn't be surprised to see him throwing his hat into the ring for a start on Saturday, by the way. But yeah, I think it was nice to see Eric show his quality really and have the opportunity to do so. But also I thought he looked really sharp for the full 90 minutes as well. So looked fit, looked in shape, looked sharp, looked determined. And that's what we like to see. That's what we expected from last season. We saw it when he did get an opportunity last season. He could never criticise his sharpness or his endeavour. So yeah, he looks fit again. He looks sharp, and that was he got a deserved assist, which topped off a good performance, I'd say.
Yeah, and of course Malcolm makes the very good point here that it was a very good finish for a right-footed player.
Good point.
Genuinely great finish. There was, as you say, there was a little bit of a. This was in the. Sorry, yeah, this was in the first half. You're saying about Notts getting a little bit of territory and a little bit of a few efforts. There was one that it just made me chuckle, where the lad had the shot and Jacko got in the way of it on the line essentially, but he just looked so nonchalant with it. He was just like, yeah, cool, I'll stop that going in. Why not? It's fine.
Just Jacko,
Jackson. So right, and then as we say, there was some subs on 60. I think were these all at once? I can't quite remember.
There was 4 subs all at once, I think.
4 subs at once, yeah. Which my usual match center doesn't have the timeline because it's obviously not that an important game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I haven't got quite as much depth of information as I normally do either.
No. But I mean, we finished the game with Towler, Hamer, McGrandles, Street, and Collins coming on, which, I mean, that's not bad, is it? You talk about strength and depth on the bench. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, I mean, by the time, what was it, 76 minutes rolls by. I think this may have been James Collins' 200th goal in all competitions.
And his easiest ever.
And I don't think he will have scored an easier one in his entire career. Yeah. I mean, we've seen teams try and play out from the back at a goal kick before. But what on earth were they trying to do?
I can't even work out what they were attempting. I can't even try to fathom why the players passed it there. Hey, it was very funny because it was almost guaranteed that we were going to win the game at that point. We looked so comfortable at that point. It was by how many goals are we going to score now? And yeah, they certainly didn't make it very difficult for us to get the third. And I've put a bit of gloss on the scoreline, but I don't think that flattered us. I thought we were good value for a 3-0 win. I think that's a relatively accurate. Maybe 3-1 would be an accurate representation of the actual game, because Notts had a few chances, but nothing too clear cut. But it was funny. It was funny.
It was very, very funny. I have just been, how can I put this? Very reliably informed that Colo is still on 199 goals, as that is league goals. So with Tuesday night being the cup, he is still on 199 goals. So I imagine, following Emily's conversation with Luke, I imagine there's plenty of social media prepped for that when the inevitable does go in. But I did think when it went in, I was like, that's a very understated celebration if it is your 200th. Obviously, it's an understated celebration for...
It was almost apologetic.
Yes.
In a way.
We did have a chuckle in the Discord as well, actually. We were talking about it and we said, what would the XG be for a chance like that? And I said, I don't think there's a numerical value assigned to it. But if FOTMob or whoever were to analyze that by the chance, it would be XG, yes.
Yeah, that's about right.
Because I don't think he could have missed. But yeah, I mean, the thing that I was really impressed with after that goal was that we didn't stop. We continued to be the Lincoln City that we see from minute one. We were pressing, we were aggressive, we were... we just looked like we wanted more, which, a few seasons ago, you probably have criticised some of the teams that we put out before for not going for it when we're that, when we get a goal. But the fact is, if we went 1-0 up under, let's say, previous management, if we went 1-0 up, we were criticised for sitting back. We were 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go and we were still putting men forward.
Yeah. It all felt a bit of a foregone conclusion at that point. And I don't want to downplay it because it was really enjoyable. But, we brought on, as you mentioned, James Collins, Rob Street, Conor McGrandles, Riley Towler, Tom Hamer. And, well, you only need to know the squad numbers of the three subs that Notts brought on a similar time of 51, 52 and 53. Really young and experienced players, which is great for them. But, yeah, that last part of the game, it really was men against boys. And yeah, I know that's a bit of a cliche again, another one of those today. But again, the reality is that kind of was true in terms of both squads that ended the game. Maybe closer to each other at the start, but for the first 60 minutes. But yeah, the two 11s on the pitch at the end of the game were vastly, vastly different in regards to experience. So yeah, good game. It's nice to be able to make that many changes, still get a comfortable win, and have a fresh squad coming into Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we go ahead and look ahead to Saturday, there's a couple of other bits of news. One which, as soon as we started talking about Tuesday's game, I immediately thought to myself, well, that's just thrown the plan out the window. Because before the podcast started, we talked about our running order and we said, shall we do it all in chronological order? And then we immediately forgot that. Because after our Monday night live stream, the club confirmed, I think it was probably about probably about half an hour after we finished, if that, that we have signed another player. We have signed by the sounds of it, an attacking right back from Wolverhampton Wanderers in the form of, and I will get this correct, Dexter Lembikisa.
Nailed it.
Chris has given me the thumbs up. That's good. Jamaican international, 23 caps, full caps for Jamaica as well, which is, normally when you expect to see a player come in on loan, you expect to see him be an under-21 international, but no, full caps for Jamaica. Caught us all by surprise. I think we were fully expecting the deals to be done with Justin Abikwu coming in. And then all of a sudden, oh no, Jez has popped up on the radio, and there's one that's in the works. So I will fully admit, much to the surprise of nobody, that it was not a name I was overly familiar with. But in our group chat, I think you and Charlie immediately perked up with, "Oh, that could be a bit of a coup." So I'll let you take it away, Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to be brutally honest though. I think my opinion of this is skewed a little bit by the Football Manager video game series, because this is someone who often on the previous Football Manager often found himself released by Wolves and available on a free transfer to like League One, League Two level clubs, and seems to improve quite quickly. So he's a player that was synonymous with Football Manager players, but not necessarily because of his real life exploits, though he has had some. On loan with Wolves, but got some really good experience for a player. 21 years old, so it's not his first loan by any means. So has played some time in League One with Barnsley towards the end of last season. He spent some time across in Switzerland. He's played in the Scottish Premier League. He played 25 times for Rotherham in the Championship in 23-24. So some good pedigree here. But what's really interesting is that we now have got 2 dedicated players for every single spot on the pitch as a minimum. So yes, we have adaptability. We've got players that can play in other parts. So we know Tom Hamer can play and has played at right back, but I think we see him as a centre back. So we have got now a viable backup for Tendai if Tendai is injured, or if we actually do want to finally give his legs a rest because he plays almost every minute or had to last season, to have a genuine, viable backup for him. I think that's great. I don't imagine Dexter's coming here to be a backup, but he's going to probably push Tendai. But ultimately, what we've got now is three good goalkeepers, 2 that are playing regularly and both impressing. I think the Stacey West readers Player of the Month ratings would suggest that, because George Wickens got our Player of the Month, and in the matches that Mr. Cheacock has played, he'd be up there in the top 3 as well. So 2 clearly good goalkeepers. We've now got 2 dedicated right backs. We've got at least 4 dedicated centre backs. We've got 2 players that are very comfortable playing left back in Towler and Reach. We've now got 4 number 6s, and then we've got shed loads of attackers. And it's really nice, isn't it? It's really nice.
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day, and I just thought to myself, you know what? We've got 20. I think I counted 27 players available in the squad. I mean, obviously 3 goalkeepers, but then the rest. When I say available, I'm not counting obviously the ones that are out on loan on the club website, which I don't remember the last time I saw a 27-man squad at the football club.
Not that includes players, or not that where every single player
not that are available.
Are available and could feasibly start. I think we've often had that when we've had the likes of Alex, not to criticise the player, but like an Alex Simmons as a first-year pro, or like. Obviously, right now, like Oisin Gallagher, for example, is out injured. MJ Kamara, when he was part of the squad, not out on loan. Good players, but not ones that really you could expect to get regular minutes. I think if any of the players of those 27 that are available play regular minutes between now and January, I think all of us are going to be perfectly happy with that, and they're perfectly capable of playing at this level. And that's probably never really happened before, to have a squad with that amount of depth and flexibility in it. And I'm just going to make sure to enjoy it, Ben, to be honest.
Yeah, no, 100%. Right, so that is the game.
Sorry, just touching on Dexter Lembikisa, because it is only a loan until January, this one. So it's not a full season long. The reason why, we don't know. We don't know any kind of reasoning from whether that's a Wolves perspective, whether that's an Imps perspective, whether that just offers flexibility. We have no idea, but it's the only one of our loans that is not advertised as a season long. It's only till Jan.
Do we think there might still be some irons in the fire for other players that may become available in January?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
For reasons, or not reasons, but for methods similar to the arrival of a certain Mr. Moylan, possibly. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that one out there and see what people think. But yes, so that is the game. That is Dexter Lembikisa. And that is time for a quick ad break. So if you're listening, you'll hear somebody trying to tell you something. If you're watching, my lord, we've had a lot of comments tonight. So we will pick out some comments from the list, say hello to you, and yeah, we'll be back in just a second.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Right, let's see who we've got. I must have put the link up for this at about 7:28, and at 7:30, the Stacey West Ultra Steve Barton was in.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for your company. Had a lovely time chatting to Steve on Tuesday night. By the way,
he's a good lad, is Steve. He's sent me some videos that have made me very jealous because he has friends in high places. Shall we say?
Yes, I've received similar videos, and yes, he does. It's very impressive and interesting, but also quite annoying as well.
Yes. Andy's in as always. He says, "Beaten again, Mr. Barton." Flossie is in. So there's a big conversation there. Ollie is in. He says, "Evening all." I'm working my way through the conversation because it is huge. Ian French is in. Said, "Good evening. I'm tuned in on holiday from Georgia." You've got better things to do with your holiday, my man. Why are you watching us?
Couldn't agree more. But
thank you. Enjoy Georgia. I will. I'm going on holiday on Tuesday, and I'm not afraid to say it, Chris. I probably won't be tuning in.
No, I don't blame you, mate. Interested to know whereabouts in Georgia because Tbilisi is on my bucket list.
Yeah, there we go. Dave Tuplin's in. Says, "Evening, one and all." Where are we? Andy S is in. He says, "Good evening, one and all." Malcolm Johnson's in. After slightly embarrassing typo of ho, he's put hi to all. That's all good. Where are we now? So Steve Jollins in says, we seem to have a full squad in the building and on the grass, just need some minutes. Yeah, absolutely. How many cliches can we get in there? Emma Lou's in. She says, "Evening, gents." Richard says, "Good evening, gentlemen, and great to see you in 200 Club."
Yes, it was nice to run to you too, Richard. We were sat like literally the opposite side of the gangway to each other as well.
There we go. You see, Paul says Jez interview in particular was great on Monday. Jacob is in. He says, "Good evening, guys. How we doing, mate? Are you well?" Keith Clifton says, "Evening, fellas. I have to say I criticised McGrandles last season when he wasn't playing well, but I'll give him credit as he started the season very well and hope he keeps it up." And that's what we like. Gary says it all the time.
So much respect for that.
Yes.
Sort of
if an opinion changes, there is nothing wrong with admitting it and the reasoning behind it. He also says 2 good finishes from House in the last couple of games. I do worry every time he goes in for a tackle, though. I think he went to the Paul Scholes School of Tackling. That would be a very awkwardly named school, wouldn't it?
Easy for you to say.
And Kev says, totally agree on that one. Kate Sin says, "Evening, guys. Hope you're both well. A bit late, it was at the gym, but insert attempt at being funny to something you've said here." Okay, we'll think of something. Walter says, "Evening from Santorini."
I like that from Kate, by the way. This never gets a laugh, but I always like it. So whenever we do a pub quiz, I say always, doesn't happen that often these days, but I always put our team name as insert witty team name here.
Yeah.
I like it, but no one else seems to find it very funny. So it sounds like me and Kate are on the same wavelength there.
We were chatting about pub quizzes earlier. Obviously, the other week I probably had one of the best team names that we've ever come up with, which was Guest Club 7. But then
that's good, yeah.
Yeah. The other one, we used to say, like, we used to do a pub quiz when we were a lot younger. And every week, if we didn't know the answer to something, we'd put Kenny Loggins down as the answer. And the sheets all went back to the quizmaster for marking. And every week, this must have been about a year, he must have gotten so sick of seeing Kenny Loggins on the sheet. Like, once we went and we had a really good round, and we were like, "Oh, I think we've done well here, lads." And the question came out of, who recorded the song Danger Zone for the Top Gun soundtrack? And the whole table just went, yeah. We were
great.
so happy. We were so happy. Let's have a look. Who else? Dom is in. She says evening, and I believe it is a birthday. So,
happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Dom. Sam Rowson says E. No, he's followed it up. Evening or tad late to the show. We'll have to catch up later. And Rach is telling obvious lies that it was her team name. Don't take the credit. It may have been hers. Right. That is a good spot to wrap up the break. I think we will come back in and we will talk about a big game coming up, some new investment, and then another big game coming up. So in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you. If you are watching online right now, it's always very much appreciated. If you are listening, it is equally appreciated. But do try and get yourself in for the live stream because it's always good fun. We've got approximately 70 people watching us now, Chris. That's mad. So yeah, next bit of news we are going to do chronologically because this did come after the game. The club have confirmed the details for the Chelsea fixture. As expected, it is Tuesday, the 23rd of September. We knew it was going to be that week, and I think the fixtures seemed to indicate that it would be the Tuesday rather than the Wednesday, because I imagine if we wanted the Wednesday and Chelsea wanted the Tuesday, it would be the Tuesday. So the tickets are on sale as follows. So gold members from 10 a.m. Friday morning until Tuesday at 9 a.m. Silver members from 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Bronze, Junior and Young Imps members from 10 a.m. on Wednesday. And then general sale, if there are any left, from 7 p.m. on Thursday. I would be very surprised if it makes it to general sale. Let's just put that out there.
I think there'll be a few. I don't think there'll be loads because, please don't quote me on this, but my understanding is that for gold, well, any member, you can only buy one ticket because we've got nearly 6,000 season ticket holders. Mm-hmm. There's not enough seats for everyone to buy 2 tickets, is there? So they can't. I think it is just literally you can buy one. So there should be a few left, but I don't think there'll be too many left.
Yeah, I would be. The reason I'm saying I'm going to be surprised is primarily from what Luke was saying to Emily in her interview on Monday, in that they kind of teased the whole you'll get cut priority if you become a member before the draw was made. In case we got a good draw, we then got a good draw, and all of a sudden, the best way I'm going to get a ticket is if I sign up to be a member. So silver and bronze memberships apparently flew off the shelves around then. So I will be genuinely surprised if there are any left this time next week. But yeah, tickets are £25, £20 for concession, and £10 for under 18s. I think that's reasonable.
Yep, agreed.
We've seen
it's what it costs. It's actually slightly less than what it costs for a league game. To go and watch Lincoln versus Chelsea. It'd be very, very easy. I don't think our football club would ever do this, but it'd be very, very easy for a football club to cash in and increase ticket prices and kind of fleece the fans to earn a few quid because people will probably pay it anyway because they want to go to the big game. But the fact that once again Lincoln City have put fans first and kept the ticket prices affordable, I think is commendable. You wouldn't get that in the Premier League, would you?
No. Who was it that did that the other week? The year. I think they got Tottenham. It was a non-league side. They got Spurs.
I can't remember. It rings a bell. I cannot
remember who it was. Definitely, it was definitely against Spurs. Someone in the comments will probably pop it in there. But yeah, they really ramped up prices. I think the cheapest ticket was like 30 quid. It's like, come on, lads, you're gonna sell out. Just stick an extra quid on the program or something. Don't fleece your fans like that. But it was Marine, says Kate. There we go. Yeah,
I thought that was in COVID. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway, so there we go. That's that. The next bit of news is away from the pitch, but it came out of absolutely nowhere, didn't it? This was yesterday.
Yeah, it did. Was that yesterday? That feels like a million years ago. Jesus Christ, today's been a long day.
Sorry. Just to drop back. Tamworth rings a bell more.
Okay.
Yes, it was Tamworth. Marine did the virtual tickets in COVID. That's the one.
Okay.
Yes, now is that rings all the bells now. Yes, came absolutely out of nowhere. I was not expecting this. I don't think there was any indication at Company's House, which sometimes you see before any big news. But we are welcoming new investors to the football club. Jack Harvey, who is obviously a big name in race car driving over in the States, has invested in the football club. According to this, there is a modest investment into the club of which they're lifelong fans. Another member on the owners board, or on the board. Actually, I don't know if is he getting a seat on the board? I don't think it says. But
Don't think so. He's part of the ownership group.
Part of the ownership group. There we go. We've said multiple times that we obviously need more investment. We need more people to come on board for the football club in order to help us grow. And it's just really nice to see. And what I do like as well is, he's obviously a local lad. He's done incredibly well in his career. He's now living his best life in the States, and he's gone, you know what? Actually, I'll invest in the football club. I'll give back a little bit. I think there's a lot in the press release about wanting to give back to the community, and what I find quite amusing is that he struck up a friendship with Harvey and Missy Jabara, and they didn't know that he was from Lincoln.
That was interesting.
Yeah, they were just friends, because they obviously enjoy his racing. So, yeah, really good stuff, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it's a bit of a good news story. I think my understanding of this, which is not that in depth, in all honesty, I haven't had a chance to look at this in depth, but my gut feeling and understanding is it's hardly going to shift the dial. It's not like we've suddenly got a billionaire owner or anything along those lines. It's modest investment, minority would expect here. However, it's just good vibes, good exposure, and it's just really nice to have a local lad that's done well to be part of the club slightly more officially. So yeah, it was not. I completely agree with you. Came out of the blue, wasn't really expecting it, but there's not a single element of negativity around this. Is that it can only be positive. Yeah, absolutely. So, the bit there says, at the present time, Jack is in the US, living his dream of IndyCar Series racing and Fox Sports commentary. His heart is always with Lincoln City and attends matches when he's home, for which we're very grateful. While we have him in the US, we look forward to him spreading the good word and promoting our club. So, very, very good point from Harrison, which I did forget briefly. It also mentions more US investment from 4 others that have become patrons. What is the role of a patron at the club? Further US investment from Ken Morris, newcomer, Mark Tallarico, Dan Morales, and Alexander Schreck, all joining the Lincoln City family as club patrons. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is obviously part of the board restructuring that happened the other week, patrons are now people who have committed a sum of money but not enough or do not want a seat on the board. Is that correct? I'm not going to black my way through this. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounds feasible according to the recent announcement of the board restructuring, but don't actually.
I think from memory, it's board and then patrons, basically. So it's the 2-tier system.
Cool.
If you go back and have a look at the statement from Clive around what they're doing with the board, that will explain everything. As Chris said, we don't want to blag our way through it, but I believe that may be how it's working out. So, just really, really good stuff. Investment all over. Obviously, we still need more, so come and invest in the football club, please. Or if my numbers come up in the Euro Millions, then we'll be all right. Obviously, I'll see everybody on the Stacey West right as well. That's just nice. So right, okay, big one then on Saturday. Is this as big as Chelsea, or do we think this is bigger, Chris?
FA Cup winners at some point in the not too recent past.
Yes, very true.
Not too far past, sorry, but it's a tough game. It's a tough game. I think it's a team club on a similar level to us in terms of realistic expectations. I think Wigan would like to think that they can push for the playoffs, but maybe not expecting it. And I think that's probably where we see ourselves as well. Definitely a top half team. Financially, probably got a little bit more clout than we have. But I think on the pitch and in terms of fan base off it, we're probably quite similar. But so far this season, they're all right. They've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. Like, you can't really get more mid-table than that, can you? 8 points from 6 games. However, they absolutely deserve to have picked up more points than they have picked up off the back of their underlying performances. They're a better team than the early league table suggests. So this will be an interesting one.
Yeah, so I did have a chance to catch up with Adam from Progress with Unity. That preview is up on the YouTube channel now, so go and have a check out if you have a minute or two. And I think it sounds like things are clicking again at Wigan. They've obviously had in terms of the style of football, he said it's been quite boring at times. It's not been that entertaining, but they are now playing entertaining football. They're getting. He was saying, I think he was trying to find the way to. He's like, we're not direct, but we like to get it forward quickly. And I was like, this almost sounds like what Tom Cleverley was saying about Lincoln. They're direct. We're not direct. We're front-footed. We're aggressive, but not physically aggressive. So I think we're in for a decent game at the weekend. Obviously, Wigan playing 3 at the back, with us playing 4 at the back. There's a little bit of a contrast in the formations and the style, but in terms of the methodology and the way that both teams want to play the game, this certainly sounds like it's got the makings of a decent League One tie, Chris.
Yeah, really intriguing, because I think it'll be a couple of teams who are quite evenly matched in terms of 11 v 11. And to be honest, quite evenly matched in terms of, I was going to say 16, but it's actually 18, isn't it? 18 v 18 in terms of the squads selected for the day. So just to give a little bit of background, you mentioned that they always play a back 3, which is correct. They played a 3-5-2 in most of their games this season, but did play a 3-4-2-1 against Luton away, similar to how we played away at Bolton. So effectively, just kind of shifted, took a centre forward away from their lineup and took them slightly deeper and wider. But ultimately, they're going to be a back 3. I expect them to play front 2 against us. I think they'll fancy their chances to play against us. They'll see this as a game that they want to attack, just like we want to attack against them. They're solid in both boxes, as are we. They have conceded the first goal in half of their games so far this season, though, and a couple of games they've conceded quite early. Of course, we scored the first goal in 5 of our 6 league games, and we've scored quite early in most of them. So I think there's again, very small sample size, but an element there that we maybe start games quicker than they do at the moment. So that if we could make that count, then maybe we have the tools to keep them out that other teams maybe hadn't done when they scored the early goal. But make no mistake, they're a decent side. They've actually got the second highest XG in the league so far this season. The most big chances of any club in League One so far this season, with 17 big chances. They've missed the most. They've missed 13 of them. But also that's off the back of just the 11th most shots. So what that really suggests is that the chances they're creating are of good quality. Their shot locations are good. They're very central, and they're inside the 18-yard box regularly. So they perform really, really well compared to the rest of the league in terms of whereabouts on the pitch are they actually taking their shots from. They're in areas that have a far higher chance of going in. So they're creating a reasonable amount of high-quality chances, but maybe have been a little bit wasteful in front of goal. And what did Mr. Cowley always used to say? You'd rather be in the position to miss than not create the chances. So they are creating them. I expect at some point in the future that the goals column will align a little bit closer with their underlying numbers. They're underperforming a little bit in that regard. I just hope that doesn't happen on Saturday. One thing that's worth pointing out is I think they're going to be quite robust and quite structured out of possession. They're not going to be quite as easy to kind of press and play against as maybe other teams have been so far this season, like Reading and Plymouth, for example, in our home games. They've only won the ball back 4 times in the final third all season, which is the second fewest out of any team. So they're hardly a high pressing team. I wouldn't say they're particularly Mark Kennedy kind of 11 men behind the ball, behind the halfway line, but they allow us to have the ball in our third. So I think there'll be a little bit of cat and mouse. Maybe I think we'll want them to press us. We'll try and maybe tempt them in and bait them in a little bit so we can try and get in behind. So it'll be who cracks first in that regard from their lineup, because I know Mr. Skubala is not a fan of 100 passes between the centre backs, is he? But we might need to have a few more passes between our centre backs to create the openings to actually get the ball forward. But when we do, I think we've been good at home. We've created a lot of chances ourselves when we've had 11 men on the pitch. And we're a good team. I think we're a good team. We're as good as Wigan. Are we significantly better? Not sure. But we're certainly as good. And we're at home. We're good at home. We score early. We score first. This is really interesting, this one. Really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they've also had a bit of a manic transfer window as well. Some. I think the two headline grabbers for me, and we mentioned this to Adam, seem to be Dara Costello coming in from Burnley, and of course the one that is going to get the national headlines is Paul Mullen coming in on loan from Wrexham. So, yeah, I think there's been quite a few. I mean, obviously they've what's the Christian Sadie from Portsmouth as well.
The other striker, Christian Sadie from Portsmouth. He's a very good player. I think that's a great signing.
Yeah,
on paper at least.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be an interesting one to see how they line up. And do you think we're going to be going at them to a similar level as we did maybe Plymouth and probably to a lesser extent Notts County?
Yeah, I certainly think we'll be back to our regular back 4-2-3-1 shape in some way, shape or form. But in terms of intent, I think we'll be front-footed. We'll be front-footed. We'll be aggressive. We'll get the ball forward quickly, and because I think that's what Michael wants from us. I think we've shown that we start games really, really quickly. Pretty much every game this season we've started like that. Certainly at home we have. So I expect exactly the same, to be honest. One thing, and I might go out on a limb here saying this, and I could be made to look very silly. I expect Riley Towler to start at left back.
Okay.
Just because I expect Wigan to play front two, and it makes sense to have your two centre backs supported by a slightly more defensive minded fullback that can be a situational third centre back at times. I think if we have Adam Reach and Tendai Darikwa both bombing on, as fun and exciting that might be, maybe we expose ourselves a little bit on the transition, and I think we don't, and that's unnecessary, I think, unless we are chasing the game. So I expect to see Riley Towler starting at left back, and he deserves to play. He's not put a foot wrong in the league really this season. But of course, Adam Rich almost certainly will be in the squad, and I'd be very surprised if he didn't come on at some point, because he's quite adaptable in terms of where he can come on. But from a little tactical thing, if anyone's kind of sat there thinking, and I could be made to look wrong here because maybe Reach will start, but if Towler starts, if anyone's wondering, well, what's Adam Reach done wrong? Why is he not playing? He's a marquee signing. I imagine it's probably quite tactical due to Wigan's likely front two lineup.
Do we think Riley Towler ends the game suspended for the next game?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. Who knows? It's weird because obviously he's picked up a booking in 4 games so far out of the 6 league games. A couple of them were correct. I think
a couple of them were ludicrous.
A couple of them were so unlucky. So I'm gonna say Riley does not get booked. That's going to be my prediction. More out of hope than expectation, I'd say.
Fair enough. Andy Brown does raise the point, and it's one to potentially say this is potentially where Towler could start. Left centre back, Sonny's out.
I expect it to be Jacko and Hamer in there personally, but it's a good point. It's a good option, particularly if we decide that there's someone smarter than me, like Michael Skubala, significantly so. If we decide that we can play out with a natural left footer from the central area and expose a certain part of the pitch, and having Riley in there is a better option, yeah, potentially so. But he hasn't played a single minute for us there in a back two, I don't think, this season. So whereas both Hamer and Jacko have played there, and Jacko is quite comfortable playing on the left side of the two. So it's a good question. It's a really good point. But I certainly think Riley Towler will be in the team to start. That's going to be a prediction of mine. Everyone else, pretty difficult to predict, isn't it? But I think he'll start.
This is where, if I was still doing the fan hub thing, it would be quite a challenge.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's just, I don't know, just chuck a dart at a bunch of names and see what happens. So yeah, there we go. Right. So are we going to be bold enough to make a prediction, Chris? I already have done on the preview. So I'm going to push you for one. What are you going to reckon?
I'm going to go head over heart here.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1-1.
If I could shake your hand through the screen, I would do, because that is what I also said in the preview. Yeah, I think it's going to be it'll be a tough afternoon. It hopefully will be a very entertaining game. At least it's not a 12:30 kickoff, because we all know what happens with 12:30 kickoffs.
Every game's 0-0.
Yes. So yeah, I think there'll be goals. I mean, both teams have scored quite a few.
And Wigan, of course, have created a lot of chances now. Like, second highest XG in the league, highest amount of big chances. Like, they create plenty of good chances, but we're good at keeping them out.
Yeah. So there we go. So the other thing as well, of course, Wigan haven't lost to the Imps in their last 5 meetings. So,
blimey! Oh, I don't like that.
But
records are there to be broken, aren't they?
But we're also unbeaten at home in the league. So that was a point. The commentator on Sky on Tuesday kept saying that Lincoln were unbeaten this season. I was like, no, we're not. What happened with the Wimbledon game? It's just bizarre. Anyway, so that is the Wigan game. We are looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to getting back down the bank, although Curry Jacks aren't there, so boo.
Boo.
I know. At least that's what their social media said. So unless they're lying to me and they're going to surprise me with a jacket potato and with a candle in the middle, just say, "Here you go, surprise." No, I don't know.
I should get a candle. It's my birthday on Saturday.
Yes, it is. Of course, it is. Yeah, there you go. If anybody is there, cheeky and desperate plug. Just if you see Chris on Saturday, buy him a pint, because I'd like to see him.
No, please don't
go on Sunday and not remember the game.
Donate it to the campaign against living miserably. That's if anyone, not that you're forced to, but if anyone does want to do anything nice on Saturday, then donate to a great cause. I lost a friend to suicide. I think it's 12 or 13 years ago now, and his parents always run a great event at the local pub in Rugby at the Adam and Eve in his memory. There's some live music, and that's also on Saturday as well. So yeah, I always like to plug it. I go every year, so that's if you can come along, great. If you want to donate, do so. But if nothing else, awareness of what the campaign against living miserably stand for.
100%, really, really good cause. Go check them out. So, and we're getting some messages in the comments. Happy birthday for Saturday, Chris. Many happy returns for Saturday. So yes, I'm sure there'll be plenty more on Saturday for you. But that is it in terms of Lincoln City related gubbins for the week, unless there's anything that pops up in the next 30 seconds or so, which is highly unlikely because it is 21:03. It is not press release time. But Chris, I'm going to give you the floor because we've spoken about this prior. So I'm going to let you have 5 minutes for a bit which we're going to call Flaming's Soapbox.
Just a minute, hopefully. But it's not very often, I don't think, on this podcast that we, as presenters and co-hosts, allow our day jobs and our kind of love for Lincoln City football to really merge. We keep them quite separate. But I think it's worth mentioning in this regard. I work for an organisation called 1U Lincolnshire. And the reason I'm mentioning this on this podcast is because we've had a little bit of media attention over the last couple of days on the radio and on Look North, which is cool. And what I realised is that for a lot of people, probably don't actually realise that we exist. And we're commissioned by Lincolnshire County Council, and it's been quite public that we've basically got a year to prove our worth and want to make sure that what we do is cost efficient. And ultimately it is, by the way, because it's proven that every pound that is spent on our service, £4.26 is saved. So effectively it costs 4 times as much for people to get the outcomes from their health from that. But I'm not here to kind of sell that. What I'm here to explain is that if you hadn't heard of us and you've heard of 1U Lincolnshire off the back of the radio or the TV, it might be useful just for me to explain a little bit more about what we do, because everything we do is free, genuinely, no strings attached. No tricks. It's genuinely all free of charge. because on the radio and on the TV, it's brilliant for people to now know that we're around. But what seems to be getting the headlines is that we support people to lose weight and get physically active by paying for them to go to Slimming World and to have gym memberships, which is just a tiny part of the organisation. So we are here to support people to lose a bit of weight, to improve the physical activity, to quit smoking, which is a huge part of our organisation, and also to reduce alcohol intake as well. Over 60,000 people have improved their health in the time that we've been around. 146 tons of weight has been lost. So we know what we're doing. And ultimately, there are lots and lots of different options which people can have access to improve your health, all completely free of charge. In a football context, some of you may have heard of Man v Fat Football League that is being run at at Yarborough Leisure Centre. So that's us. We run that at the moment. We do work in partnership with other organisations and run our own in-house programs as well. So just wanted to let everyone know, really, that outside of this, we all have real jobs, and mine is to support people. I head up part of the weight management team, so our in-house weight management program is kind of my responsibility. But realise that this is a nice platform to speak to a few people, and if anyone is sat there thinking, I'd like to be a bit more active, or I'd like to lose a bit of weight, or I'd like to quit smoking, or reduce my alcohol intake, but I could do with having a bit of a hand and a bit of support along the way that's quite personalised to me, then that support literally does exist. It's genuinely free of charge. So our website is oneyoulincolnshire.co.uk. There's a sign-up form on there. You literally click the big sign-up button. It takes a couple of minutes to fill in, and then one of our lovely triage guys will give you a call, have a chat how we can help, and get you in. So if you're eligible and that's your sort of thing, brilliant. If not, you're probably going to hear about us for a bit, and I'd still quite like to have a job in a year's time. So any positive feedback, any support would be appreciated. But mainly, if we can help you for free, sign up.
100%. Yeah, it's a really, really good service, and away from it. And I'm not just saying this because he's on the podcast as well, but Chris is a nice guy who's helped me out with a few things as well. So it's very important. And we said we are for fairly obvious reasons, we're not going to dive into the politics of everything on this one, but I think there's a lot of issues that are happening around things that will genuinely impact people if it goes away. So let's make it so that doesn't happen. I've just hit my mic stand, so apologies to those listening on headphones. And I don't think there's too much else to say other than I think it's you and Gaz on Sunday, maybe. It may not be you, because I think you'll probably have a headache.
I might do. Yeah, I might do.
But yeah, we'll have a podcast on Sunday. I'm on holiday for 2 weeks. So yes, I'm going to very much enjoy that and the time away from my real job. And until then, one thing left to say, which is, of course, up the imps.
Up the imps.